The most dangerous words that a man could ever say is, "I'm fine. I'm okay. It's all good." Any variation of those. How many times have you said this and actually meant more? I know for myself, the easiest way to get out of that deep kind of penetrating, confronting type of conversation is to simply chalk it up to, "I'm good." And I want to share why that is so damaging for men to do, because what that actually does is it bypasses a lot of the deep responsibility that's required to actually deal with the deeper emotional things that are truly present for you as a man. You're just choosing not to go there for fear of being exposed or being vulnerable. This happened the other day where I was on a client call. And my client started out the call much like he normally does. I asked, "How's the week been? How you feeling?" And he started the call saying, "I'm fine. It's okay." And I knew immediately that something was wrong, because anytime, again, I've done this work long enough. I've been in this self-improvement game, this healing phase, this entrepreneurial journey now for about 10 years. So I know when another man is saying, "I'm fine," that's code for, "I'm actually going through a lot right now. I just don't feel safe enough in myself to share that with you." That's truly what that means. So me knowing this as the coach, I just played along. "Okay, sure. Everything's fine. Tell me about your week. What's fine about it? Get into more detail. Talk to me." So you just slowly peel back the layers, and eventually what we found out was 2 hours into this call, 2 hours later, we talked about his past, how he had feelings of unworthiness, inadequacy. He didn't feel like the women that he wanted him back, the fear of being alone his entire life, how he didn't feel like he was a man on his purpose, and how that gets in the way of him being the guy that can live up to his potential. So many other things were going on in the background, but it all started by him saying, "I'm fine." And immediately I saw right through that, because I know better. Because I've also done the same type of defense mechanism and the coping strategies to not go into that type of work. Men do this unconsciously, by the way, because we're taught at a very young age that emotions are bad, feelings are bad. You don't want to be a man who's doing that. You want to be stoic. But the thing is that most people don't even know what being stoic actually means for real. Stoicism is not ignoring your emotions, acting like they don't exist. Stoicism is actually acknowledging your emotions and working through them, using them as a compass, not as something that is going to detract you from life. They're an indicator. It's like a check engine light. When your engine light goes on, right, in your car, maybe maybe your coolant needs change, or maybe you need to get an oil change. Well, that indicator starts flashing on your dashboard, letting you know you might want to prop up your hood and check out what's going on. That's exactly what emotions are, man. They're not something that's meant to scare you or make you feel feminine or less than a man. I think it's actually weak when you don't acknowledge your emotions and you act like everything's okay, meanwhile you're actually going through a lot. So the idea here with this client, we went deep. We actually penetrated the BS that he's used to living in. And this is not to call you or my client or anybody out. I do the exact same thing. We fool ourselves into thinking that we're okay for fear of opening up, for fear of being transparent and honest. Because in the eyes of somebody else, if we don't look like a man who's got it all together, who's got it all figured out, then we're going to be seen like someone who can't be respected, or someone who can't be taken seriously, or a man that can't attract the woman that he truly wants because he'll be seen as weak. I used to have all these same thoughts. If you look at some of my old videos on my channel, I was projecting so badly. I was wearing a mask, and that's what this is. You put on a mask to hide the fact that deep down you actually feel insecure. You maybe don't feel like you're enough. And I would project on my videos and start screaming, and not screaming, but just acting super aggressive and being really loud, the pound your chest type of guy that I was always against back then, but not realizing I was behaving the exact same way, because deep down I felt like, well, no one's going to listen to me. I'm a 23-year-old kid who's still living at home, who had no real life experience. How are people going to take me seriously as a coach? So now I have to overcompensate for my lack of security that I feel in myself, try to paint this image that I've got it all together, that I've got it all figured out. And, 8, 9, 10 years later almost, I started to realize, wow, I was projecting all of my insecurities, and that's all that ever was. It's okay to not feel okay. Quite simply. And I know that's cliche to say, but truly, it means you're human. One of the concepts that I teach through my program with my students is learning to build your strength through the shame. You see, what we men typically do is we will bypass any uncomfortable feeling. We'll do whatever we can do to get away from the ugly, sensitive, vulnerable position of sharing how we actually feel. You typically feel not good enough. You feel like you're not worthy. You feel like you're unattractive. You feel like you don't have what it takes. And all these deep beliefs that you hold, even though you don't consciously share them, they are subconsciously stored within you. And you carry that, and it shows up in your behavior, whether you're aware of it or you're not. And this could be really damaging because you're walking around life basically living a lie. You're not being fully honest. You're not being fully truthful, regardless if any other person knows about it, but you're not being honest with yourself. You're not being truthful with yourself. It's like, I'm good, I'm fine. You're really not. You don't feel like you're competent. You don't feel like you're confident in the ways you want to be. You don't feel like you're living the life that you set out to live. And that's okay. The first step in any transformation is radical honesty. You're not going to get there by continuing to delude yourself into thinking that you've got it figured out. You don't. Men need help. Men need support. Nobody is going to get through life doing everything 100% alone. Human beings are social creatures. We need each other to strengthen our sword. And if you're a Christian, that's one of the things that's in the Bible. Iron sharpens iron. Men grow through being around other men who are also pushing them and holding them to a higher standard than they potentially hold themselves. Just like in the case with my client, I started to ask specific questions, because he started saying things that I picked up on as a coach, realizing that there's more underneath the surface that he wasn't revealing. And the reason that, again, most guys do this is because they don't feel safe. We grew up in a society where we were conditioned to think that men that show feelings were weak. Men that showed feelings and emotions were feminine, were pussies, or we can't do this. And that's just a faulty belief system. It leads to a lot of dysfunction in men as they become adults, because you overcompensating in one way or another. Look at guys in the red pill, look at guys in the manosphere as a perfect example of this. These are unintegrated, ungrounded men. They haven't fully understood their emotional center. They're not emotionally mature. They're not regulated men, and they can come out with like being super macho and very aggressive. And again, these are great things, and I'm glad these guys exist for that reason, because we're in a time right now where men generally are being shamed for being masculine. So these guys came at a really interesting time, and they showcase a void in this space where men are just want to be men again. They want to feel like it's okay to be a man. It's okay to have ambition, obsession about life, and passion about building a better future. That's what being a man really is all about. Being the hands and the feet of God and being out there, be of service to others. But aside from that, the concept that I want you to take away from this video is the concept that I teach with my students. Like I was saying, we typically, before I got sidetracked on a tangent there, we like to distract ourselves from the deeper uncomfortable parts, which hold usually our shame, our fear, our guilt, our limiting beliefs. We'll play video games, or we'll watch dirty websites, or we'll eat a bunch of food, we'll go out and drinking with the boys, chasing women, whatever it takes to not sit with ourselves. My philosophy is the only way to truly step into your power as a man is to experience your weaknesses. And I know that sounds backwards, but is the only way through, because shame, fear, guilt, any limiting beliefs that you hold, they only have power when we fail to acknowledge them. It's like that one quote, I believe it was Sun Tzu that said this: we can't defeat an enemy that we don't acknowledge. By not speaking up about this, you are literally creating another loop for this cycle to continue. It's like a monster under the bed. Why is the kid so afraid of the monster under the bed? Well, you don't know what the monster looks like. He's in the darkness. It's the unknown. When you shine a light on the monster and the kid looks at it, it's not that scary anymore. It's not that bad. You see what's under the bed. There's nothing there. You look in the closet. It's just a broomstick. There was never a monster. It was just something you thought was a monster. And that's usually how we operate as human beings. We want to avoid the thing that we deep down don't want to address because we think it's way too unsafe and way too uncomfortable. But the second we actually acknowledge those things and actually go there with ourselves, we create the conditions necessary to heal from it. and to overcome it. The only way around shame or around deep fears and limiting beliefs like that is to go right through them. Acknowledge they're there, call them out, and then you move forward. You have to dissociate between the thought, the behavior, the belief, and you, which is a whole separate video. I encourage you to go check out some of my other videos. I talk about this a little bit more in depth. Telling yourself it's all good, it's fine, nothing's wrong here, nothing to see here. You're deluding yourself, bro. And I can say this because I've done the same thing. I still do the same things. That same thing sometimes. It's just it's a condition that we have as men. We're just used to doing it because you were never taught any different. You were never shown that there was another way, there was a better way to go through this. And that's what I teach my students. So if you want to go through this even deeper and you want to understand this concept and understand your unique, specific limiting belief with whatever you're dealing with and give you a framework and a blueprint to move forward into the man that you're supposed to be. So this thing won't weigh you down anymore and keep you stuck where you've been at for such a long time. So if you want to go deeper with that, there's a link down below to apply to work with me. I have an event coming up in July. This is a 4-day men's retreat where we'll be hosting it in Las Vegas, Nevada, July 23rd to July 26th. It's an absolutely incredible event. This is my second time ever running one. The first one was in Miami. It was incredible. We do these deep exercises and workshops and somatic movements, breath work to really get you out of your head and help you become the man who feels embodied, empowered, and actually making the proper choices that lead to habits to create the success that you're looking to create in your life and business, your lifestyle, and most importantly, in your relationships out there in the world so you can attract a woman. So I only have so many guys that I enroll into this at once. I only have 8 available, and this is a very exclusive private community that I'm building. So if you want more information and you think this is something that you need, let's have a conversation down below. Book a time to have a conversation with me, and we'll see if you're a good fit for the trip. What I want you to do is just next time that you tell yourself, I'm okay, I'm fine, nothing's wrong, just catch yourself. All it takes is that awareness. It's like, oh, I'm doing it again. I'm avoiding responsibility again. I'm lying to myself. It's not actually true because nobody's fine. Like, what is fine? What is that? Like, what, I'm okay. What does that look like? Like, what? Nobody's just okay. You're either doing great or you're going through it. And I'm not saying one is better than the other. I'm just saying, like, you have to be honest about it. You got to be real, because anything less than that is a lie. And this is what I call when men feel like they're living out of integrity. That's a big reason why. They think in their minds that they're at a certain place, but what's coming out of their mouth, what they're saying, and how they're actually living is not fully in alignment. So that's a big thing that I support my clients in doing, is so your thoughts, your words, and your actions all are in alignment. If you take anything away from this, just take away the fact that if you're being honest and transparent, that is going to be the beginning of your massive transformation. Don't lie. Don't just say it's fine, shrug it off like no big deal, nothing happened. Those are the ways of men that, we've seen our fathers do that. We've seen our grandfathers do that. That's dead and gone. That doesn't work anymore. Maybe it did 50 years ago, but not now. Men are called to higher. Men are called for more. God is calling you for more. So don't play small and stop acting like what you're going through is not something that's worth talking about, because you are somebody who matters. I don't think guys hear that enough. Like, your problems are important. You should talk about them with other men specifically. I'm not saying you should go share this with anybody. It has to be a sacred space. It has to be a safe space. And that's what I offer my men and my community that I'm building. So again, if you want to learn about that retreat coming up in July, book a time with me below. We'll talk about getting you into the community. I'm super passionate about helping you get out of your head and be more in your body so you can live with purpose and intention and clarity and confidence, build a better relationship with yourself so you can eventually go out there and attract the ideal woman for your life and attract other great relationships that complement your lifestyle. So if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, comment down below if any of this made sense. Let me know if there's any topics in the future that you want me to address. And if you want to ask me a question about this, if you want me to go deeper and maybe address something that you're specifically going through, I'm active on Instagram every single day. So ask me a question down below. I'll leave my link there as well. And subscribe to the channel too if you're new. If you like content like this, I talk about very deep masculine self-improvement relationship topics on this channel. So If this stuff resonates with you, you're right at home. So that's it for me, dude. I hope this made sense. I hope that you can relate to this too. I think deep down, every guy can relate to that moment where he's like, just shrugs things off when somebody asks you how you're doing and you just want to get on with the conversation. So you say, I'm good. Nah, I'm fine. And there's moments where you maybe don't need to get into it. Just be aware of who you're talking to. But the deeper underlying messages, sometimes we do that with everybody, especially ourselves. And we're not being honest and forthcoming with what's really going on. And that's actually preventing you from achieving the level of healing, the level of transformation and growth that you're looking to achieve, because you're not actually addressing the elephant in the room. So make the unknown known. And I promise you, everything else will flow from there. You'll be well on your way to becoming the man that you're meant to be. I really hope that this video was valuable to you. Check out some of my other videos if you're new here, or if you want to freshen up on some of the other concepts that I talk about. I'll let you have an awesome rest of your day. I will catch you in the next video. Peace out.